Sometimes I come into these scribble sessions knowing exactly where I'm going to go, exactly what I need to start with, exactly what colors and shapes and what I want to talk about. But today is not one of those days. So instead, I'm just starting and trusting that whatever needs to come out will come out. And trust is a really big part of this. Perhaps it's the biggest part of this, actually, because our mind wants to control things so much. It wants to know what color is next. It wants to know what shapes look good with what shapes, what colors look good with what colors, and to only put those together to make something that looks beautiful. And that definitely has its place. Making things that look beautiful or creating things that look beautiful. I love doing that. But there's also a place for just trusting what wants to come out and not worrying so much about what it looks like when it comes out. And for me, that's where the trust comes in. Listening to my body, listening to any sort of messages that come from outside my body, and just going with that. Some people talk about it as intuition. I tend to use that word sparingly because my mind wants to attach its control into that. The mind is a very tricky thing. Wants to attach itself so quickly and so easily. So I'm not trying to trick it. I'm just trying to say, we don't need you here. Thanks so much for your information. Thanks so much for your input. But you're not needed here. And that's something I'm working on almost all the time. It's not something that comes very easily, but almost every scribble session that I'm doing, I'm working on that. And these sessions aren't about practicing art skills. Although I do think that art skills can come out of these sessions, but that's just sort of an accident, I guess. An accident that you are practicing art skills. I just find that scribbling is one of the easiest ways for me to quiet my mind, because even the word scribbling, there's no connotations that a scribbling is supposed to look good. So that's why I use it as a practice for quieting the mind. There's also something about it being an activity rather than sitting on a cushion that makes it feel a bit easier for me as well to quiet the mind. And that's really what meditation is. It's just about focusing in on one thing at a time. So if that one thing is scribbling, that's great. If that one thing is your breath, that's cool too. But focusing on each moment, one moment at a time, that's meditation. You could be focusing on just washing the dishes, meditation. Just vacuuming the house, meditation. Just cooking dinner, meditation. These are the things that I use, I guess, as I'm talking all about housework. Just walking to school, just putting one foot in front of the other, meditation. It's that simple, really. It's that simple and that challenging. And that's something I'm really learning. A lot of the most profound, challenging practices are very, very simple. I was really enjoying doing some coloring in there for a little bit. And then I got some constriction in my body. I could feel some constriction happening and that I needed to loosen it up a little bit. So that's what I'm doing now. A little more loose, sort of scribbly rather than tighter shapes that I was doing before. And that happens, you know, and sometimes you need to discern whether the constriction is there because it's something that's hard for you and you don't like it because it's hard, or if the constriction is there because it's not for you in this moment. And there's no right or wrong, honestly. It's just playing around and seeing and like feeling through each moment. Being curious with yourself, feeling through what you need one moment to the next. And the interesting thing is, maybe what you need in that moment is to make something that looks beautiful, maybe. But if you tend to be a perfectionist or someone who is working with aesthetics in your job, then I would encourage you to try, at least, making things that you don't like. I just noticed that I really like this green color I'm coloring with and the yellowy orange and the peach here together. So I'm just making a note in my head to set those colors aside. They look good with this brown as well, actually. And that's kind of a cool thing too, because when you just go with what it is that you're feeling in each moment, the colors that are calling to you in each moment, without a worry or a care about whether you think they look good together, sometimes you make these absolutely amazing discoveries that you can then use at another time in your life when you do want to make something that looks beautiful. And making something that looks beautiful, it doesn't have to be art. It could be just that you find some colors you really enjoy together, and maybe you buy some throw pillows in those colors and put them in your living room or on your bed, or, you know, it doesn't have to be art oriented at all. Scribbling is just a window or a gateway into so many other opportunities and applications. And that's feeling complete for me today. Were you able to stick in the moment and choose colors and shapes based on what your body was feeling at the time? Or did you find yourself getting stuck in beauty?